I think we can begin now. I would like to welcome you today. First of all, good afternoon to our colleagues from Greece for participating today as well. Not only from Athens, but from around Greece. I hope you're all well, that you can hear us and see us. I would also like to welcome our panel of prestigious guests today, also from various places around Europe. Today, whereas last time we talked about the regulatory framework within which the Hellenic Post is active, both on national and European level. Today, in our second virtual event, we will talk about delivery, and specifically about the last mile delivery. It's a term which is used very often. It concerns the final stage of delivery of an item when it leaves a warehouse or sorting center, and it is delivered to the end user, the end receiver. Why is last mile delivery important? Because e-commerce is growing rapidly. Customer orders are increasing constantly, and their requests and demands are also increasing. They want same-day delivery. Rather, they wanted it yesterday to be delivered. There is a rapid increase in e-commerce. And at the same time, they also ask for free shipping without additional costs. All posts and large services are constantly seeking new ways of delivery, drones, robots. Abroad, there is a way of delivering from our car trunk or when we're away from home. New technologies is something that we need to include in our own mode of operation. And this is also defines customer satisfaction from one company. We will try and analyze everything today. Like last time, today's event is being recorded. It is part of educational material, but also for reasons of dissemination and publicity. I hope that there's no objection to this, to recording the event. Any queries? Please write it on the chat and we'll try to respond to the questions. Without any further delays, I would like to give the floor to our first speaker, Mr. Vaios Lappas. I will say his profession in English, research profession. Applied Mechanics Lab, Department of Mechanical Engineering and Aeronautics at University of Patras. Thank you very much for being here today. You will talk to us about Eurodrone, which began in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And I would like you to outline us, to describe as simply as possible how these drones work, what happened in this specific project. And I can say that you can share your screen to manage your own presentation. Good evening. I would like to confirm that I will have my presentation in English.
Εσείς ό,τι θέλετε.
English is mother tongue for the professor.
Or I can do both. I'm quite comfortable to do both. So I will try to do that for the benefit of your speakers and your guests. So I just wanted a confirmation that you are able to see my presentation, my shared screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, good. So, kalispera.
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Lappas, could you speak a bit louder, please?
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do that. Καλησπέρα σε όλους. Ήθελα και εγώ να σας ευχαριστήσω για την πρόσκληση, αλλά κυρίως...
Good evening. I would like to thank you for the invitation, but also for the pleasure of working together with the Hellenic Post in this innovative postal service.
Our Hellenic Post group for their support in this very interesting research project that I will be presenting on advanced autonomous last mile applications using UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. So my presentation is sort of broken into 4 parts. I wanted to speak about something which is a little bit futuristic, unmanned traffic management, which in Europe we call U-Space. Θα σας μιλήσω για τον έλεγχο του εναερίου χώρου για αυτόνομα μη επανδρομένα οχήματα, για το ερευνητικό πρόγραμμα Eurodrone, με το οποίο αποδείξαμε ότι μπορούμε να κάνουμε λειτουργίες last mile delivery χρησιμοποιώντας προηγμένες καινοτόμες τεχνολογίες τεχνητής νοημοσύνης, αλλά και χρησιμοποιώντας drone, μη επανδρομένα οχήματα. Θα σας δείξω μερικά βίντεο από τις πτήσεις, από τα demonstrations που κάναμε στο Μεσολόγγι και στην Πάτρα, και κάποιες έτσι προτινόμενες, κάποιες προτάσεις για την εφαρμογή τους στο μέλλον. So I'll speak about the Eurodrone project, our flight tests, and our achievements. If any of you want to see some more about our project, please feel free to join to check our website and see some more details on the project. I first wanted to talk about U-Space and how we're able to fly drones, unmanned aerial vehicles in conventional airspace, something which many people are concerned with. And obviously, when we fly drones and unmanned aerial vehicles, we need to have specific corridors, flight corridors, airways, to put it in the right context, so these could fly safely and not collide with other obstacles, buildings, or other vehicles flying, or ground vehicles. So Europe has established a new structure where we'll be able to test both from a technical and regulatory and financial point of view, unmanned vehicles, drones, and to do that safely. So the whole planet is working on these technologies, and you can see here that these have been classified into 4 groups, U1, U2, U3, and U4, where you can see the level of services growing in sophistication. Θα ήθελα να σας εξηγήσω λίγο τη διαδικασία με την οποία τα drone, με τα οποία ακούμε πολύ συχνά εδώ στην Ελλάδα και γενικότερα στην Ευρώπη, για πολιτικές αλλά και για αμυντικές εφαρμογές, πώς θα λειτουργήσουν. Η Ευρώπη έχει ένα πολύ προηγμένο πρόγραμμα δοκιμών και πιστοποίησης μη επανδρομένων αεροχημάτων, το οποίο ονομάζεται U-Space, το οποίο είναι ένα σύστημα αέριας κυκλοφορίας, με το οποίο μπορούν υπηρεσίες για την πτήση των drone να γίνονται με ασφαλή τρόπο, να γίνουν με έναν τρόπο ο οποίος είναι συγκροτημένος χρησιμοποιώντας flight corridors, δηλαδή αεροδιαδρόμους. Φανταστείτε για παράδειγμα έναν διάδρομο ο οποίος να συνδέει για παράδειγμα το αεροδρόμιο Βενιζέλος της Αθήνας με τον Πειραιά, ο οποίος θα έχει τα κατάλληλα ραντάρ και την κατάλληλη υποστήριξη. Και αυτή τη διαδικασία την έχει χωρίσει σε 4 επίπεδα, U1, U2, U3, U4, όπως βλέπετε εδώ, με τα οποία θα μπορέσει να παράσχει κάποιες προηγμένες υπηρεσίες των drone στην Ευρώπη, με την έννοια ότι αυτές θα μπορέσουν να μπουν σε εφαρμογή μέχρι το 2025. Οπότε το μέλλον είναι πολύ κοντά για τη χρήση των drone. Eurodrone is a research project that finished last year and was quite successful. we were able to test and demonstrate a number of activities, and it was one of the 5 test centers where drones for cargo, medical cargo, and other applications were tested. So there were another 4 programs. We were the only one in the Mediterranean region. We tested flights near Patras, which is a few hour drive from Athens, and also at the airport of Mesologi, the city of Mesologi, near one of Hellenic Post's head offices. And we wanted to test the transport of high-value medical cargo and logistics. So things that take a very small mass and have fairly short routes, but you want to fly them very, very fast. For example, you want to get some COVID vaccines transported very quickly, or to areas which are very difficult to access. Obviously, we're doing a lot of work with our security and defense forces, so a lot of this technology came from other sectors and is being applied in other sectors. Το πρόγραμμα Eurodrone ξεκίνησε, όπως ανέφερε η κυρία Ρίγα, το 2018, τελείωσε πέρσι με κάποιες δοκιμές που κάναμε στο αεροδρόμιο του Μεσολογγίου. Το έργο αυτό είναι ένα από τα 5 κέντρα δοκιμών σε όλη την Ευρώπη, τα οποία πιστοποίησαν την εφαρμογή και την τεχνική επάρκεια τεχνολογιών που θα μπορούσαν να χρησιμοποιηθούν για τις διαδικασίες αποστολής medical cargo, για παράδειγμα, που έχουν μικρό όγκο, μικρή μάζα, και θα μπορούσαν, για παράδειγμα, να απαιτούνται η μεταφορά τους από ένα σημείο σε ένα άλλο, το οποίο θα μπορούσε η απόσταση π.χ. να ήταν μικρή, αλλά θα είχαμε την ανάγκη να μεταφέρουμε κάργο το οποίο ήταν πολύ υψηλής αξίας, όπως για παράδειγμα κάποια εμβόλια ή δείγματα COVID, όπως επίσης και για αμυντικές ή εφαρμογές ασφάλειας, για την επιτήρηση, για παράδειγμα, για την διάσωση. Οπότε όλα αυτά ήταν πράγματα τα οποία αναπτύξαμε και χτίσαμε στο έργο. Το έργο αυτό έτρεξε για 18 μήνες, χρηματοδοτήθηκε γύρω στα 2,8 εκατομμύρια ευρώ. Ήταν ένα πολύ προηγμένο έργο καινοτόμο, στο οποίο είμαστε ιδιαίτεροι υπερήφανοι, το οποίο είχαμε πολύ υψηλή ελληνική προστιθέμενη αξία, και ο στόχος ήταν να δοκιμάσουμε και να πιστοποιήσουμε τις τεχνολογίες που σας ανέφερα πριν για πτήσεις όπου λειτουργούν τα drone χαμηλότερα από 500 πόδια, από τα 300 περίπου μέτρα. Και γενικότερα ήταν πολύ πολύ σημαντικό για μας και θεωρώ για τη χώρα ότι είχαμε ένα από τα 5 κέντρα δοκιμών μη απανδρωμένων συστημάτων εναέρειας κυκλοφορίας στην Ευρώπη. So just to summarize, Eurodrone is a 2.8 million euro project that was recently completed, funded by the EU. And our goal as one of the 5 test centers was to validate that these technologies in the near term could be used for autonomous operation with humans in the loop, however, with a very high level of autonomy. So in this project, Eurodrone, the architecture of the project is based on cloud software, very similar to what you use on your mobile phones or on social media. We used some very novel hardware transponders that were installed on drones. And we created a very highly automated air traffic management system, so the UAVs could communicate with 4G, in the future with 5G networks, and operate in low altitudes. This cloud-based system used some artificial intelligence technology, as a self-learning system based on distributed computing. And this offers a lot of redundancy in case there is problems and conflicts in the system. So our goal was to validate the communication links, the use of vehicle-to-infrastructure and vehicle-to-vehicle technology, the data links, and to essentially show that this could be done in a safe manner. Το ερευνητικό πρόγραμμα Eurodrone έχει μια αρχιτεκτονική η οποία στηρίζεται στις τεχνολογίες cloud, όπως είναι για παράδειγμα οι εφαρμογές που χρησιμοποιείτε στο κινητό σας, όπως είναι των Android ή των Apple συσκευών. Είχαμε κάποιους πολύ προηγμένους αναμεταδότες χαμηλού κόστους, οι οποίοι ήταν πάρα πολύ μικροί, που χωρούν σε μια συσκευή κινητού τηλεφώνου, για παράδειγμα. Και ο σκοπός ήταν να δημιουργήσουμε ένα δικό μας αυτόνομο σύστημα εναέρειας κυκλοφορίας, το οποίο θα μπορούσε να μας δώσει τον αριθμό των πτήσεων, τις διαδρομές, και όλο αυτό να λειτουργήσει χρησιμοποιώντας τεχνολογία τεχνητής νοημοσύνης, μηχανικής μάθησης και αυτό μας δίνει μια έτσι ικανότητα να έχουμε μια πολύ βέβαιη λειτουργία, να μπορέσουμε να λύσουμε διάφορα προβλήματα σε πραγματικό χρόνο και μας επέτρεψε να πιστοποιήσουμε τις συνδέσεις των drone μεταξύ τους, αλλά και μεταξύ π.χ. διαφόρων υποδομών όπως είναι το 4G ή το GPRS που χρησιμοποιήσαμε σαν μέθοδο επικοινωνίας για να μπορούμε να τα κατευθύνουμε πάρα πολύ ομαλά. Η αρχιτεκτονική αποτυπώνεται στο σχεδιάγραμμα που βλέπετε εδώ πέρα. Στο κέντρο είναι η εφαρμογή cloud, στο οποίο επικοινωνούν όλα τα συστήματα. Επικοινωνούμε δηλαδή, για παράδειγμα, με τους πύργους ελέγχου άλλων αεροδρομίων. Μπορεί κανείς, για παράδειγμα, όπως είναι οι ασφαλιστικές εταιρείες ή οι πάροχοι, όπως ο ELTA, για παράδειγμα, να παίρνει τις πληροφορίες που θέλει και να ξέρει σε πραγματικό χρόνο τη διαδρομή που βρίσκεται κάποιο πακέτο κτλ. Αλλά μπορούμε κυρίως να ελέγξουμε τις πλατφόρμες UAV. This architectural document shows you the architecture of our system, which is based on the cloud system that I just described. Everything is connected to the cloud, including air traffic control, operators, logistic companies, which are able to see the path that has been selected, the time to delivery. Insurance companies could, for example, assess what is happening, but also we can control air traffic, we can send messages to whoever is interested and monitor what our UAVs, our unmanned aerial vehicles, are doing as part of their mission. I just wanted to show the team that we had, which was a very international team. University of Patras was the coordinator. We used a few UK entities like Drone Systems and Cranfield University. Critical to our project were both the Hellenic Civil Aviation Authority and Hellenic Post, which gave us all of the cargo and logistics requirements, and their support in this project was tremendous. And I'm really happy for the invitation, because I don't think we would have been able to complete this project without the help of some really nice and expert staff from Hellenic Post, who taught us that philotimo, this Greek value, can be very useful everywhere, even in research and development. We also had the privilege to work with a small Spanish company called Aslogic that helped us with conflict resolution. And we also worked with Romanian Post as well in the logistics and mission scenarios. Είχαμε την χαρά να έχουμε μια διεθνή ομάδα, η οποία αποτελούνται από μικρομεσαίες εταιρείες όπως η Drone Systems από τη Μεγάλη Βρετανία, πανεπιστήμια που έχουν πολύ μεγάλο σημαντικό background σε μη επανδρομένα οχήματα, όπως το Πανεπιστήμιο του Cranfield, στο οποίο επίσης διδάσκω. Αλλά θεωρώ ότι κάτι πολύ σημαντικό σε αυτό το έργο ήταν η ελληνική συμμετοχή μέσω της Υπηρεσίας Πολιτικής Αεροπορίας και των Ελληνικών Ταχυδρομείων. Θα ήθελα πάλι να επαναλάβω ότι δεν θα μπορούσαμε να ολοκληρώσουμε το έργο εάν δεν είχαμε την υποστήριξη, την τεχνική και πολυεπίπεδη υποστήριξη από τα ελληνικά ταχυδρομεία, σε μια εποχή που οι δημόσιες υπηρεσίες κατηγορούνται για τα πάντα και που γενικότερα πιστεύουμε όλοι ότι μπορούμε να τα ισοπεδώσουμε όλα. Θεωρώ ότι τα ελληνικά ταχυδρομεία στο δικό μας έργο μας δώσανε μια φανταστική υποστήριξη τεχνική, μας διδάξανε πάρα πολλά και μας μάθανε επίσης τι σημαίνει η λέξη φιλότιμο, κάτι το οποίο νομίζω παραγνωρίζουμε στην εποχή του 21ου αιώνα. Είχαμε επίσης την ευκαιρία να δουλέψουμε με την Aslogic και τα ρουμανικά ταχυδρομεία, που ήταν ιδιαίτερα χρήσιμο στις εφαρμογές των logistics. Something that I wanted to very briefly show you in the interest of time is that our tool was able to calculate and show how it operates via simulation and with real-time implementation. You can see, for example, in this graphic, certain regions which are included in orange color. These are the no-flying zones. The software was able, for example, with algorithms, to determine which areas we're able to operate, which areas we're not able to operate. You can see here these colorful volumes are showing areas which are no-flying zones that we would be able to navigate through and create paths. So creating flight paths, creating the fastest route, the most robust, safe route, avoiding possible conflicts was very important. And this was done all autonomously by our tool, using the DroneAv application, an app that was designed in this project. Το λογισμικό το οποίο αναπτύχθηκε από την ομάδα ήταν ένα πολύ καινοτόμο λογισμικό, το οποίο μπορέσαμε να πιστοποιήσουμε σε αυτό το έργο. Στη φωτογραφία, στην προσομοίωση που βλέπετε εδώ πέρα, βλέπετε κάποια κτίρια και κάποια χωριά και πόλεις, τα οποία είναι εγκλωβισμένα, περικλείονται από κάποιους όγκους, όπως σε χρώμα πορτοκαλί ή κόκκινο, που είναι στην ουσία περιοχές που δεν επιτρέπονται τα drone να πετάνε, και βλέπετε με κάποιες γραμμές SEL και μπλε τις διαδρομές που υπολογίζει το λογισμικό και οι αλγόριθμοι τεχνητής νοημοσύνης, οι οποίοι επιτρέπουν πού μπορούμε να πετάξουμε, πόσο γρήγορα. Μπορούμε να επιλέξουμε την πιο σύντομη διαδρομή, μπορούμε να επιλέξουμε για παράδειγμα την πιο άνετη διαδρομή από πλευράς αποφυγής εμποδίων. Οπότε το λογισμικό μας επέτρεψε να σχεδιάσουμε τις διαδρομές με τον τρόπο που θέλαμε. The hardware that we used is also based on some commercial off-the-shelf transponders. And what you see here on your right-hand side is a transponder called Drone Assistant. This is the only hardware, the little box that you need to go and install on an unmanned aerial vehicle or on an aircraft that is able, for example, to get a transmission. It has a communication link. It has the mission manager. It gives you the flight path. It communicates with other systems and vehicles. And it's able to instruct our cloud-based system what the aircraft should do in order to get and complete the command that we want. Στη διαφάνεια αυτή, αυτό που βλέπετε στο slide, αυτό βλέπετε το hardware, ένα κομμάτι του hardware που χρησιμοποιήσαμε, το οποίο βασίζεται σε ηλεκτρονικά που είναι εμπορικά διαθέσιμα. Το κόστος του είναι λιγότερο από 100 με 150 ευρώ και στην ουσία είναι ένας αυτόνομος αναμεταδότης. Έχει μια ζεύξη μέσω 4G και GPRS, με το οποίο, για παράδειγμα, συνδέεται με τον δικό του αυτόματο πιλότο και με τον αυτόματο πιλότο του αεροσκάφους του μη επανδρωμένου αεροχήματος. Και από εκεί μπορούμε να επικοινωνούμε με το αεροσκάφος, να του στέλνουμε εντολές, να του στέλνουμε τη διαδρομή που θέλουμε να ακολουθήσουμε, τις συντεταγμένες, να μας δίνει τα δεδομένα αποφυγής εμποδίων, για παράδειγμα, και όλο αυτό γίνεται σε πραγματικό χρόνο. Ένα πραγματικό θαύμα της τεχνολογίας, το οποίο ανάπτυξε μια εταιρεία που λέγεται Drone Systems, με την οποία το πανεπιστήμιό μας δουλεύει πάρα πολύ στενά. We used in our project different sizes of UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. We had a vertical takeoff UAV. The distances that these vehicles were able to go were in excess of 50 kilometers. Flight time over 3 hours. They could be designed to take 2 to 4 kilo payloads or 10 kilo payloads. So again, if we wanted to shorten the endurance or the flight time, we could increase the payload capacity. So this was something that we wanted to test and fly. Ένας στόχος του προγράμματος ήταν να μπορέσουμε να δοκιμάσουμε διαφορετικών τύπων μη επανδρωμένα αεροχήματα, τύπου αεροσκαφών, δηλαδή με πτέρυγες, αλλά όπως και πολυκόπτερα από αυτά που βλέπετε. Οι ικανότητες τους είναι αρκετά προηγμένες. Τις χρησιμοποιούμε για δοκιμές επίσης αμυντικών εφαρμογών στη χώρα μας, στο Πανεπιστήμιο. Η εμβέλειά τους μπορεί να ξεπεράσει τα 50 χιλιόμετρα. Στόχος είναι μελλοντικά, για παράδειγμα, να κάνουμε πτήσεις οι οποίες να φτάνουν πολύ εύκολα τα 100 χιλιόμετρα. Δεν έχουμε κάποιον περιορισμό σε αυτό και επίσης, εάν μικρύνουμε την απόσταση, για παράδειγμα, μπορούμε να αυξήσουμε την χωρητικότητα, το payload, το φορτίο δηλαδή που θέλουμε να μεταφέρουμε, αρκεί αυτό να μπορεί να χωρέσει στον κατάλληλο όγκο, στις κατάλληλες διαστάσεις μεταφοράς. I just wanted to say a few things about the mission scenario, and I will shortly close my talk so I don't exceed my time limit. But in our mission scenario, what we wanted to show is a flight between the airport, the local airport, a small general aviation airport of Mesologi, a distance of about 10 kilometers, give or take, from the airport to one of the depots of Hellenic Post. So this was a fairly complex, for example, route. If you want to do it by car, it would take you 15 approximate minutes if there's no traffic. During, for example, afternoon time when schools, for example, are open, we discovered that this could take easily 25 minutes. And we were able to cover that with a drone in a fraction of that time, obviously, and doing that safely. So this was one of our main mission scenario that we wanted to test, and we wanted to avoid obstacles. Ήθελα να σας μιλήσω για το σενάριο το οποίο κυρίως δουλέψαμε στο αεροδρόμιο του Μεσολογγίου και στην πόλη του Μεσολογγίου και είμαστε ευγνώμονες για την υποστήριξη και του αεροδρομίου και του Δήμου Μεσολογγίου για τα πειράματα που κάναμε πέρσι αλλά και πρόπερσι το φθινόπωρο. Η απόσταση την οποία θέλαμε να διανύσουμε ανάμεσα από ένα από τα γραφεία των ελληνικών ταχυδρομείων και το αεροδρομίο ήταν γύρω στα 6 περίπου χιλιόμετρα, το οποίο εντάξει, η χρονική διάρκεια ήταν γύρω στα 14 λεπτά. Από τα δικά μας πειράματα που κάναμε με το αυτοκίνητο, ιδίως στις μεσημεριανές ώρες που τα σχολεία ανοιγοκλίνουν, αυτό θα μπορούσε εύκολα να πάει στη μισή ώρα και προφανώς αυτό που θέλαμε να δείξουμε είναι ότι μπορούμε να κάνουμε μια αυτόνομη πτήση πολύ πιο σύντομα και πολύ πιο ασφαλής από ό,τι π.χ. με κάποιο όχημα εδάφους. This shows you some of our simulations. We wanted, for example, on the flight to calculate the flight path, to have a backup scenario. You can see some of the areas which we simulated and we showed that we wanted to be no-fly zones. These are the colorful volumes that you see. We were flying near military bases, so we had to speak with military-based traffic control, with air traffic control area around the region. So this was a fairly complex and sophisticated test. Οι δοκιμές που κάναμε, βλέπετε εδώ το λογισμικό και πώς υπολογίζει τις διάφορες διαδρομές. Εδώ πέρα οι πρώτες διαδρομές ήταν κάποιες διαδρομές δοκιμών που κάναμε γύρω από το αεροδρόμιο για να δοκιμάσουμε τους αλγόριθμους αποφυγής εμποδίων. Βλέπετε σε αυτούς τους όγκους, τους χρωματισμένους κτίρια, για παράδειγμα, που έχουμε βάλει το ΤΕΗ Μεσολογγίου, το κτίριο που είναι δίπλα από το αεροδρόμιο, την πόλη, κάποια σχολεία και κάποια άλλα κτίρια που είναι δίπλα μας, είναι μέσα σε κύλινδρους τα οποία ήταν no-fly zones, απαγορευτικά σημεία πτήσης. Έπρεπε ο αλγόριθμος να υπολογίσει σε πραγματικό χρόνο την καλύτερη και πιο σύντομη διαδρομή του drone. So I wanted to show you a video which demonstrates what we did, and I wanted to slowly come to a closure with our test and focusing on last mile delivery. As mentioned in our introduction of the seminar today, drones are becoming an integral part of our life, but they're also a very big market, which is estimated to exceed 100 billion. So the European Commission is taking a very strong and proactive stance to qualify, to essentially validate that these technologies could become a reality in Europe. And Eurodrone is one of those pilot projects which promise to revolutionize how drones are used. As I've said, the key innovations in our project, we wanted to create this cloud-based intelligent technology algorithm that gives you a safe trajectory using infrastructure that exists like 4G or GPRS, and also to validate flights. You see here our drones, and you can see our drone assistant hardware, the transponder. The software to use is very simple. If you're in a logistics company, you just punch in the coordinates of where you are and you want to go, and the system calculates on the fly the best trajectory for you. And all of this was tested in real time at the airport of Mesologi in Greece. We had Hellenic Post, τα ελληνικά ταχυδρομεία, brought us a payload. You can see here this manual setup of the drone. Βλέπετε εδώ πέρα την τοποθέτηση του drone ώστε να είναι έτοιμο προς απογείωση. What happens here is that we have a courier who brings a package of a certain size that has been predetermined, that is of high value. It is very easily installed on the UAV. Βλέπετε το cargo το οποίο θέλουμε να μεταφέρουμε το φορτίο, το οποίο είναι υψηλής αξίας. The cloud-based tool creates a mission plan. It communicates this to the unmanned vehicle and to anyone who is connected on the cloud tool, who's able to see the path. You can see it from different cameras all over paths. And you can see here our first test where we're flying near the airport. In sort of the center stage, you can see the College of Mesologi that now belongs to the University of Patras. And on the far left, you could see the city of Mesologi. This is another UAV that takes off as a helicopter and then flies like an aircraft. We were able to test the flight and the delivery of cargo with very fast aircraft and to do this at a fraction of the time. So we wanted to test different multiple vehicles. You can see the infrastructure we need is very limited. You can see Mesologi at the very far end. You can see here that in our testing, we were able to land multiple times our UAVs. We always had a professional pilot certified who was able there to be a safe mode and to manually handle the UAV in case there was a problem. This was happening when general aviation was doing its normal flights. There are flights that happen for fire monitoring, for example. And you can see here the cargo is retrieved. We took it for a drive around, and you can see here our mission and the details with our staff. And again, we're grateful to all of our partners for the tests that we did. We have another video, which I will conclude my talk, where we did our long-range test. And what we wanted to demonstrate in our second, more sophisticated or advanced scenario was to show how we could fly a drone based on our system. Again, you go on a cloud-based, internet-based browser, you set up your flight paths, you get approval or not. You can see here again, our tool tells you where to fly and how to fly. And in our flights, again, which we did in Mesologi, we wanted to do 10-kilometer level flights. So this is how we're taking off near Hellenic Post in Mesologi. We've installed, for example, a cylindrical box that carries a hypothetical vaccine, and you can see the UAV takes off. In the very far end, behind the mountain you see is the city of Patras. So we're obviously not going to go that far, but we are turning now, and you can see the stabilization is not the greatest, but we're approaching the airport. It's an accelerated video to show you that we were able to do 10-kilometer size beyond visual line of sight testing for the purposes of validation. So this is the testing that we did in our project. We were able to test a number of critical technologies that I think are important from an aeronautics and logistics point of view. Αυτές ήταν οι δοκιμές που κάναμε. Αυτό που είδατε τώρα ήταν μια πτήση 10 χιλιόμετρων από κάποιο γραφείο των ELTA, το οποίο μετέφερε, για παράδειγμα, μια μικρή συσκευασία φορτίου τα οποία θέλαμε να προσομοιώσουμε. Και με αυτό μάθαμε πάρα πολλά από αυτή την ομιλία. Δεν ξέρω αν με ακούτε, κυρία Ρίγα.
Ναι, σας ακούμε, κύριε Λάπα. Παρακολουθούμε μεγάλο ενδιαφέρον την παρουσίαση.
I wanted to conclude my presentation by hopefully demonstrating that we've learned a lot from these practical tests, which I think will be useful for logistic companies. Was that we were able to work with the logistic companies and see what requirements they have so we could implement them in the near term. So thank you for the opportunity. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
Και εμείς σας ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Okay, για να επανέλθουμε λίγο, τέλεια. Ευχαριστούμε λοιπόν πάρα πολύ.
Thank you very much.
Πραγματικά το συγκεκριμένο έργο ήταν
The specific project was
κάτι εντελώς καινούριο.
something extremely new and innovative for us as well. A question that comes to mind is if you have considered the next steps. From what I understood, this project is one in which the technical infrastructure has been created. You focus more on the technical level. Does this precondition that training is required? Yes, obviously. It obviously demands a very high level of education. I've seen the questions in the chat and I will try to respond to them. The program that I demonstrated is a pilot program. We wanted to see if such a technology is feasible. It's something used mainly in defense capabilities, but also in marketing. There are a lot of restrictions as the legislative framework needs to change in which deliveries are made.
Καλύτερα. Ωραία.
Αυτό που ανέφερα αυτή τη στιγμή οργανισμοί όπως είναι η
Currently, organizations such as the Civil Aviation Service, the FAA, and Eurocontrol are all working together to be able to formulate a new legislation so that this can occur in the future. Technically, this will obviously require at least 5 years so that it is safe technically and also manageable. There are a lot of applications that link the logistics part as well as the economic feasibility of this, as well as the need for safe platforms for drones. What I need to stress is that this is a pilot program.
Σας χάσαμε πάλι για λίγο.
Huge efforts are required so that this can become an operational service. There are companies in Great Britain, America, and Netherlands that are examining this use. And here in Greece, I don't think we're far away from such an operational service, but it requires a combination of legal, technical, and operational needs so they can be feasible. So in 5 years' time, and it needs a combination of the legal framework as well as the technical capacity for this to operate as a model. If I'm not mistaken, there are very few posts abroad, at least at European level, that I don't know if they provide, but they too are also in a pilot stage of testing. There are companies that are testing and are very much in front of developments. We have to be cautious of the marketing and how this is presented. DHL and Amazon have their own programs with which they cooperate, either with states or universities or services that occupy themselves with such things. What we'll see in 3 years is that in these air pathways where such drones will be able to fly, in the next 1 or 2 years, there will be some pilot application with some specialized air pathways with sensors or radars. So, for example, consider the link between Eleftherios Venizelos Athens Airport with the Piraeus port. These are pilot programs. They need many certifications and licensing, and the financial dimension of this project, of this aspect, needs to be considered. Research shows that this project can be financially beneficial. For example, if you want to transport medical cargo, for example, for transplants, or if we want to transfer a cargo such as blood, for example, to areas that are not easy to reach. In the US, a drone managed to transfer a heart for a heart transplant process. These are things that we'll see in future. We'll see them. The volume of this will increase in a scalable dimension. Transfer via drone is safe, right? And it's also feasible and qualitative. Under some conditions, yes. For example, if there is a air pathway created and there is a link, this also raises questions of cyber security. If there is safe internet links, communication links. For example, in our testing with Mesologi, there were some points where our 4G did not work satisfactorily, but our algorithms managed to work. There are some problems. There are some UAV that can fly with high winds, but not everyone Not every drone can do this. This, of course, can be a safe, secure process, but it also demands investments as infrastructure work needs to be carried out and platforms, both for the software and for the drones of the vehicles, need to adhere to specific criteria, which will be specified by the Civil Aviation Service. And this is the work that is being carried out right now. It's a complex project, but I think it will show a lot in the future. Yes, it is very interesting, and I would like to thank you again for the support of the Hellenic Post. I will not stop saying this. It was particularly supportive in difficult times. And in particular, our cooperation demonstrated that if we are united in Europe and in our country, we can achieve very important things. Thank you very much. I hope that there will be a follow-up of this project, or that we will have the opportunity to cooperate again in future with great joy. We have some projects, relevant projects that continue both for deliveries and for defense capabilities, because it is important to continue this. I'm sure that we will cooperate again. If you remain until the end of our event, the last event also has to do with drones. It's another project in which the Hellenic Post is cooperating in, and it's also very interesting. I have a postgrad class at 6, and I won't be able, but I will wait to see it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Lappas. Now we move again from the air to land. And I will give the floor to Dr. Antonino Scrubelito. I think for most of you, he's a familiar person now since last week. Antonino is a European Affairs Senior Project Manager at PostEurop, and you will talk to us about the Cognitive Logistics Operations Project. So you have the floor. Welcome once more.
Well, first of all, a big Eucharisto for inviting me again. It's really my pleasure and my honor, and are not only words, to be again with you. And I want to congratulate with you because, again, this second module of training is amazing. I was always watching the participants, is 256 in this moment.
That's right.
So it's really great and successful because we always struggling that, you know, during the COVID time, the training is difficult, but you are the example that nothing is difficult. You just need expertise, quality, and excellent people like you, and you can see that everything is well set up and well done. So really, I want to congratulate with you, Afroditi, and with all my friends in Hellenic Post. I really appreciate when you were talking also, and also Professor Lappas, it's really an excellent presentation, and I took notes also about your introduction, and I fully agree with you about the increasing of last mile delivery. I don't know if how we will do this time for the presentation.
You can share your screen.
Okay,
Otherwise,
then I will ask the help of Angelo or Vacas if they can put the presentation in the meantime. So I was I fully agree. I was telling with you about this last mile delivery increasing. And one of the innovative presented, and it's really, really interesting. And I was thinking that in PostEurop, we have our innovative forum, innovation forum, where all these new, I would say, ideas, new projects, very innovative, they are presented. Maybe, of course, you will, how to say, evaluate if it's the case really to do this presentation in our PostEurop Innovative Forum, Innovation Forum. because it's one of the diamonds in the basket of Hellenic Post. I mean, I know that you are one of the best in PostEurop also for organizing projects, especially financed by the European Union. And I could subscribe to what was the conclusion of Professor Lappas when he said, united in Europe, we can reach a lot of things. I really quoted him because it's what I always believe and what always we are doing in PostEurop. You can see always on my back the full PostEurop member, and I think there is your logo on the other side about Hellenic Post. So I will speak today, when I was thinking about, of course, future postal logistic, I was also thinking that one of the challenge that also the CEOs, they gave to us is that, okay, this is innovative, we can apply this technology, but you should bring on my table the analysis, the economical analysis, the business, which are the costs and which are the benefits for the company. So before to go in the technical part of COG-LO and to explain to you what is COG-LO, next slide please, I want to just really quickly, it's not just to repeat what I said last time, but is more to continue on the market aspect that is anyway linked also to your introduction, Afroditi. It's what, next slide please, Vakas, what is the approach to what is going on at European level, because I think this is interesting for everybody. As you can see in the PostEurop family, we are a big family covering all Europe, from Vladivostok, Russia, to Lisbon, from Iceland to Cyprus, to also Malta. And of course, the strategical approach is different because with the introduction on innovation, some of our members, they are reducing the post office. We have to say that some strategy in the north of Europe is to cut physically the post office, and you create this franchising approach, like in the gasoline station. So this is another challenge. I mean, it's when we introduce a new technology, there is an impact also on the reduce of the postal employees, people. You know, everything has to be balanced. It's in the cost benefit analysis, but still we remain, I'm sure also in Greece is like that, the biggest company for number of the people employed. I know in Italy, Poste Italiane is 150,000, and I am sure in Greece, Hellenic Post is the first. So we are still workman-loaded companies. So that is important because we invest in the HR, and it's a great example what we are doing. But we have to take into account that this strategy is totally different post by post. Next slide, please. Like was mentioned, we are absolutely a critical infrastructure. We are everywhere. And indeed, the problem is always with the rural area, because also, for instance, with the innovation technology was mentioned before, DHL and Amazon. But the point is that they are going to use always not in the rural area, because in the rural area they use us. They do not go there directly, but they are present, I don't know, in Athens, in Saloniki, in the big, how to say, cities. But of course, in the small island like Greece, it's you know better than me, sometimes there they do not go directly and they use us. So we are really the skeleton of the country, let's say. And our impact, if we decide to change strategy, I mean, or to cut post office, or to keep the post office and to use this post office like the biggest shop in our country, and so we can feed with all the products, all new service, and also the innovation technology there. I think that is a strategy that bring really more profit for the postal sector. Next slide, please. So again, this is what we are doing. So we are really a multi-service companies. Was mentioned before about the medical cargo, and indeed also we are doing medicine. We are doing so. This drone solution could apply, I think, in this context. Next slide, please, Vakas. And also you can see other contexts where we are also active. Next slide. Voila, next slide, Vakas. So, and before to go to talk about COG-LO, the final part for the market, because you can see that the decline of the letters, unfortunately, in some country was dramatic, like in Denmark. You can see where is Greece. That's our the data of 2016, so a little bit old, but still quite important because they are less. But like Afroditi said, where we have the increase rapidly demand in the parcel. So in some country, this parcel demand is covering the letter. In some country is a surplus, because if you can see in Germany, in Latvia, in Croatia, the decline was almost flat, was in 2% every year. Then if you compare Denmark and Germany, it's a totally different, sorry, it's a totally different situation, market situation. I'm sorry, really, it's I have to
no problem.
Switch off the otherwise they will continue. So next slide. I apologize for this.
No problem.
But like you said, this is absolutely in line with your excellent introduction. You see that there is a different evolution of domestic parcel and express service. And the drones somehow, or whatever the innovation technology, you will see also COG-LO, goes in that direction to support more and more, to boost and to serve better this high demand that there is in parcel and in express services. Next slide, please. Here you can see really the revenue. That's the, like I said, I mentioned last time, Poste Italiane, with the pass of the years, our balance sheet is changing. You see that the profit is more done in other services. If you take the balance sheet of Poste Italiane, you see that now all the profit, all the revenues, they are coming from bank service, from assurance, from, and these are innovation also, mobile, parcel, and less of letter. So, and I am sure that you will have the same situation in Hellenic Post. So that is really important. This you see at regional level that, like you said, this demand is in all the world. Of course, is highest in the Northern Europe and Western Europe, because it's linked to the GDP of the country, so more activities you have. And this was, let's say, if we can say that there is a good part in the COVID aspect, in the COVID pandemic time, that the COVID boost this demand of parcel was because with the lockdown, everybody remains at home, so everybody is using the e-commerce for everything. I mean, for shopping, for medicine, and for everything. So next slide, please. And here you see that what I was talking, the diversification in the revenue. USP is for universal service provider, so it's us. And it's a little bit interesting to see that Deutsche Post, Deutschland, you can see 16, is the company that has less diversified. It's based on the core business. And who is diversifying more has more revenue on this diversification. You can see the friends from Cyprus, also Hellenic Post, Portugal, Poland. So who has a setup on the market, diversify less than who has to increase more and more the market share. Voila, and this is, I know, I was watching your excellent agenda. I think there is a panel that will talk about the lockers, so you can say how the innovative we are. This is an industry that it's, everybody has this idea of the whole the fashion approach, but I can tell you it's not true. It's just a perception. We are one of the most innovative industry, at least in our sector. Voila, and now with these premises, let's see COG-LO. As you can see, the trends are these. There is this e-commerce growth, the same day delivery. More and more this demand is going also in quality. Our customers said, okay, this morning I order the shoes. I want that this afternoon these shoes, they will be delivered. And there is all the sector there is in transformation, the globalization, because one of the good points, and really is introduction to COG-LO, is the cross-border. I was following really careful the Eurodrone, and one of the question was, and will be, I think, one of the challenge, is when you have a cross-border delivery between Romania and Greece, or Greece and Bulgaria. It's more typical. So with this drone, he has to go in the space that is not only Greek space, but is also Bulgarian space. So become, regulatory speaking, more complex, because the cross-border is increasing more and more. And that is, the answer is also COG-LO. So Vagas, if you can, or Angelo, I don't know. Voila. This is one of the challenge in the logistic. So to have this collaborative approach that must be not only at national level, but like also who presented before the panel than me, it has to be cross-border approach. In COG-LO, we realized that, for instance, you will see one of the pilot is made between Croatia and Slovenia, but I can extend the same in Greece. You have a small village in the border with Bulgaria, and you have one small and medium enterprise in Greece. The customer orders something, the Bulgarian customer orders something to the small and medium enterprise in Greece that is producing ouzo, or is very good food, so let's say moussaka, and wants to eat in Bulgaria. And sometimes those villages are really like 10 kilometers. I mean, regarding the parcel, what is doing the parcel? Is going from the small village in Greece to Athens Airport, from Athens Airport to Sofia Airport. There is office of exchange. This is managed by Bulgarian Post that will deliver this parcel in the village, in the border in Bulgaria between. So the idea with the COG-LO is to change this perspective and to avoid this long path, and the possibility that the parcel is delivered directly from crossing the border from the Greek border and the Bulgarian border. And this is one of the challenge. So we have a load factor optimization. How you can see the need of this is to merge and consolidate deliverables, deliveries. And it's also to analyze, because then imagine this at a big level. You have a huge big data of products, of postal items that they are going around in that area, and half are managed by Hellenic Post, another half is managed by Bulgarian Post. So it's creating this flexibility, this really how to say merging cooperation that is due to the fact that we have a growth of e-commerce cross-country. So it's not only e-commerce that is growing up in the country itself, but also cross-border, but with all the problems that also was mentioned, the security, the privacy, and also the right infrastructure. Next slide, please. So what we did, unfortunately, still I cannot show you the final demo because the project is going on. But of course, I will invite you, for who is interested, to participate to our forum on the COG-LO project. You are more than welcome, really, to join us. And there we also will give you all the technology. I am not an engineer. I have economical and juridical background. So all your question about the technology, I will just take notes and I will report to the engineer of COG-LO. What I can tell you that it's a COG-LO. It's this cognitive logistic framework that helps us to improve the operation, the security, and create a new business model, because it's an interaction between two postal operators. And not only, because you will see the demo that we are doing internally in Hellenic Post, then is more an optimization of the traffic that goes from Athens to Saloniki. And of course, I mean, my friends and colleagues of Hellenic Post are there, so if they would like also intervene and to tell more about the demo in Greece, it's more than welcome. It's your house and you know better than me. So this is the general concept, how it works. You can see that there is this cognitive logistic objective. Usually this can be in the truck, can be in the warehouse, can be, but if I want to describe this really in simple way, imagine that there is again a truck from Hellenic Post that is going to delivery in the area with the border of Bulgarian Post, and they know that they received a message. The truck is still not full, so one of the problem of our cost benefits analysis is that the truck is better for us when it's full load. I mean, if we are circulating trucks that they are not full load, means that we are losing somehow on the economical part. So they received a message that there is a parcel that can be take in the border in Bulgaria, and they can be delivered directly in this village in Greece, or vice versa. So it's a constantly communication between the trucks, the warehouse, can be the office, can be the mobile phone of the postman. You have infinitive suggestion. What we call it is this cognitive advisor for optimal solution. You can see in the slide, you can consider the truck, the blue, the Hellenic truck, and the green, the Bulgarian truck, and they can even meet in one point where they can change the parcel. So this exchange can be between the trucks or can be directly from post office to another post office. Next slide, please. So the project results are these, are to create a new centric modal, multimodal transport model. It's a cooperation platform based on this social Internet of Things, so it's not a big, really technological investment. And the tools is this cargo hiking tool and this cognitive advisor tool. Next slide, please. So now we are going to show you the three demo that we are going to do. Here you can see in the small what I mentioned. So there is this cross-border. It's a cross-border parcel delivery. You see the contents is again the e-commerce. And is in order to optimize this delivery between Slovenia and Croatia, in order to avoid, as you can see, all these that the parcel goes from the Zagreb to Ljubljana, office of exchange, and after to Ljubljana delivered in the small village. But to have this optimization, and one of the problem is this real-time load factor, because again, to have a truck that is moving, that is not a full load, that is really a loss of money. So what COG-LO is offering, it's optimized shipping scheduling to make vehicle care more parcel, and also is anticipate and suggest possible cargo sharing opportunity. And this is the famous question that I mentioned at the beginning, which are the benefits? Because our CEO, they want to say, okay, this is a great project, this is very innovative, but how this can increase our profit, our benefit, our cost. So we made an analysis, and for this demo should be an increase of the 30% of smart parcel. Don't forget that when we talk about parcel, we realize that the volumes of the parcel are really the small package, really small package. We are not talking about parcel of 1 kilo, half kilo. No. We are talking about sometimes even they include, yes, under 2 kilos, absolutely. But even under 1 kilo or even under half kilo, because sometimes we see that even component for technology, they are included in our letter envelope, and they even send. And for us, then become a small package, a small parcel, although they use the envelope. So it's really sometimes something small. One of the point is 20% to decrease the delivery time, because of course, like that, the parcel has not to do all the turn, airport from Athens, airport from Sofia. No. This is really a decrease of delivery time. Improve, of course, the customer satisfaction. To have the 50% load factor increase in order to improve this vehicle utilization. And what is important is to have 95% of data monitoring and sharing among the postal operators. Where is the challenge there? It's also to share the data, because we have not to forget that we are cooperating in PostEurop, but we are also competitors, because everybody also competes. So it's a question to have a sharing data, but without sharing sensitive business data. Next slide, please. Here it's your actually demo, what Hellenic Post is doing in Greece, and is really a backbone, a urban parcel delivery. As you can see now, you can recognize is the big, let's say, channel. It's really the backbone of the skeleton of Greece, and there is all the transport between Athens and Thessaloniki. So here we are talking about optimize at national level for the urban also logistic. More or less is the same. Of course, you have less challenge because you share your personal data. You have not to cooperate with external. So the idea is there to improve your leading position, also with the new collaborators, maybe with the small companies in the deliverable, in the delivery, or small postal companies that they do not have your capacity to delivery everywhere. The urban logistic is to improve response to ad hoc event. So it's the same time the truck, the cargo is going from Athens to Saloniki. He received an inputs on the way, and then he can do a sort of deviation to take on board the parcel and to bring back to Thessaloniki. So it's really a dynamic rerouting and replanning about that. The benefits that Hellenic Post would like to do. It's 80% of load factors through ad hoc pickup, because again, to send on the street trucks that they are not full load for us, it's means losing money. To 10% decrease of average cost, because you can, and also to reduce the fuel consumption that nowadays it's one of the cost. I mean, I can tell you, especially in the south of Europe, where the gasoline costs more than in the north of Europe. I see the difference when I am in Italy and when I am in Brussels. Okay, Italy is a special case because I think it's one of the most expensive country for gasoline, for fuel, but still sometimes it's almost double. I mean, we can achieve €2 per liter in Italy when in Brussels is €1 something. So a big reduction of fuel consumption is excellent. To reduce also the density of the network, I mean, because, and to increase also pickups in the time window in this famous J+2. Last but not least, the next slide, please. It applies also not only on the postal sector, but we have a partner, ECOL, is one of the biggest cargo logistic supplier in Turkey, but not only, in all the world. And the idea is to use this COG-LO also there in order to reduce the delay. And that is more complex because we have also to how to say, to cooperate with the different actors. You have the boats that arrive in the harbor in Trieste, and after the container is put on the truck, and after from Trieste to delivered in all Europe. So you can see that is a ad hoc alternative in order to merge and to utilize also a third partner, not only a cross-border country, but also with a third partner optimization. Which are the benefits that are expected is 10% of shorter delivery routes, increasing 30% of, again, also for the container, is good when we have the full load of the container, to increase and to have a better intermodality, and again to decrease also there the fuel consumption. That is one of the best when you want to implement a new optimization system. The first question is, okay, this system will reduce the cost, also the fuel consumption, yes or no? Last but not least, decrease this response time, because like was underlined many times today, we have a big demand, but we have also to be on time to provide our answer to our customer. So if I want to summarize, we have increasing load factor, reducing cost, reduce deliverables and improved asset utilization, improve delivery times, improve our answer responsiveness to the customer, and improve, of course, the customer satisfaction. So, in conclusion, you can see, and I fully agree, and really I want to quote again Professor Lappas, because it's really true that united in Europe we can reach a lot of things, and indeed is a European project. Where you can see all countries, from Germany, from Belgium, from Luxembourg, from Italy, from Greece, from Slovenia, from Croatia, from Turkey. It's financed, it's a big project of 5 million euro. The project started in June 2018 and will finish in September. We had due, unfortunately, the COVID, a sort of amendment to have more time in order to finalize our demo. Here you can say all the structure. You have the association partner, the technological provider, the university, the PostEurop members, and also the data analytics partner and the optimization partner. The project coordinator is the University of Catania, and the technological coordinator is Singular Logic. And the scientific coordinator is the institute that we have in Slovenia, the Josef Stefan Institute. So with this, I conclude my presentation. I am sorry if I was not so much into the details of the technology, but of course I remain at your disposal. But again, I will report to my engineering COG-LO if you want to really know the technicism of how it works, this cognitive logistic structure. But my target was really to give you a general overview of the future, but also the market, and a sort of application, and also concluding with a message. Innovation is great, but of course we have always to do a business analysis. I mean, all the cost and the benefit that the innovation can bring. Voila. Once more, a big Eucharisto for your attention and your time.
Thank you very much, Antonino. Summing up, again, this is a pilot project for the moment, but when implemented in practice, it will give the opportunity to the users, to stakeholders, actually, to have data sharing and in real time.
Absolutely.
So when a truck, as you said, goes from Athens to Thessaloniki, an e-shop or a retailer will be able to see in real time whether there is a space in the truck.
Absolutely.
Ask for space to put
just he will have an app and he will see on his mobile. So it's automatically all organized, this optimization. It's less work for the operational manager because if we put more automation, but could be also another kind of work for the operational manager, I mean. But it's exactly like you described, Afroditi. Perfect.
As a general comment, for all European projects, though, the thing is, the challenge is every time to see how we can move from the pilot phase to the real implementation or commercial use of what we are developing in terms of European projects.
Fully agree.
This is always a challenge.
Fully agree. Absolutely. I can tell you in Safe Post, now we realize that the Dutch, they are developing an electronic nose that was inspired by us. Maybe sometimes we do not have the capacity, like you mentioned, to bring from the pilot to the real application, but we inspired others that they invest and they bring on the market. Absolutely.
And also a general comment before because this was commented, I think, in the chat. We are also in a transformation phase right now. We are in the same model, reducing post offices and postal employees. And however, I think that we need to exploit every time the opportunities that we have through European projects to see what we can develop with other countries. And when the management decides, because this is also a strategic decision, decides to implement something, a new service or something in practice, we will have been trained for that in advance. So right now we are exploiting the opportunities of the projects.
Absolutely. The project are the key value of the project is to provide this, what you said, a different, a think out of box to our management to see how we can develop new services. And of course, it's something that is really evolving because today, like you said, the PostEurop members, they are a multi-service companies. They are doing everything. I mean, it's not anymore, you know, just to deliver the letters. I mean, it's something more, really.
Thank you, Antonino. Thank you once again. I think you'll stay here with us for the...
Yeah, of course. And if you allow me after, I will also do questions because it's always interesting.
I'll move on a little bit with the agenda.
Absolutely.
So we are moving now from pilot projects to... actually, I will move to Mr. Pavlides, but Joe... Yes, okay. Joe, do you have, Mr. Dickinson, a time restriction? Does any of you have any time restriction?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I will follow the agenda and give the floor to Mr. Pavlides. You will share with us your experience from the use of parcel lockers in Cyprus. Είστε, να πω στα ελληνικά την ιδιότητά σας, ανώτερος ταχυδρομικός λειτουργός στο τμήμα ταχυδρομικών υπηρεσιών.
Mr. Pavlides is the acting director of the Department of Postal Services in Cyprus Post. My official title is First Operational
Director,
and he is a co-acting director of the Cyprus Post Department of Postal Services.
Μάλιστα. Μάλιστα. Ευχαριστώ πολύ για την διόρθωση για να βάλουμε τα πράγματα σε σειρά, όπως ακριβώς είναι. Σας δίνω λοιπόν τον λόγο για την παρουσίαση.
I give the floor for your presentation.
Share my screen.
Ναι, μπορείτε να μοιραστείτε την οθόνη σας.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation to present the Parcel 24 service at this event and to congratulate you for the organization of this very interesting event. Very interesting topic so far. So, I'm going to talk about parcel lockers and the Parcel 24 service. It's a service with technology less exotic than the one that Professor Lappas presented earlier, but still we believe that it's something relatively new for the postal sector. So, Parcel 24 is, of course, a network of automated lockers. In the physical world, this is what it is. It is a last mile solution. This is the topic of today's event. We have seen after the use of the parcel locker for some years now that it is a cost saver in the last mile delivery, and it's a complementary solution to all the other types of last mile delivery practices, and above all, is a convenience to the customer. I'm quoting from the IPC cross-border e-commerce survey of 2019. It's the one with the highest satisfaction level out of the 4 pickup points that they were included in the surveys. People, they look for alternative solutions, and parcel lockers is one of them. We launched the service back in 2012 with 3 systems. Of course, back then it was a different technology. Nevertheless, we managed to win the Innovation Award by the Employers Industrialist Association. That was the award for the public sector. And it was the first time that Cyprus Post won that award. And the new, let's say, phase 2 of the Parcel 24 service with the upgrade and expansion was introduced in 2019. Comparing the 2 types of lockers, you understand that 7 or 8 years, they make a lot of difference in the technology. Each system consists of 92 lockers, 92 boxes. Of course, it's a modular design, so it's expandable. We have used it already. This feature has been used already. So in one of the areas that we have implemented the service, we haven't used the full-scale system, but a smaller one. There are 28 lockers per module in 4 different sizes, so that to accommodate various sizes and make optimized use of the available space. Each locker opens with a unique PIN code that is sent to the customer. We can place items up to 30 kilos, and of course, dimension-wise, based on each locker. The design is disabled people-friendly, and we have provided the customer with full management of his or her account through a website, a specialized website. Service is offered on a subscription basis. There are 4 levels, as you can see, with a very small charge just to maintain the service and cover the operational expenses. So it's a very easy and straightforward service to use. The subscriber signs up from the website. He has the option to choose a primary and secondary locker. Of course, a secondary locker if it's available in the area. The system provides a specific address, so each parcel locker has its own address and its own postal code, which makes it easier for the sorting. Of course, when there is automated sorting, it's much easier and convenient. So every time an item for
Κύριε Παυλίδη, σας χάσαμε για λίγο. Δεν ξέρω αν μας ακούτε. Ελπίζω να μας ακούτε. Νομίζω ότι, ναι, χάσαμε για λίγο την σύνδεση. Θα του δώσουμε λίγα λεπτά να μπορέσει να συνδεθεί ξανά. Να πω στο μεταξύ ότι η σταθμή δεμάτων
Say in the meantime that
είναι πρακτική που ακολουθείται και
the parcel stations is a practice that is used in many European countries.
δεν ξέρω αν ο κ. Παυλίδης
I don't know if Mr. Pavlides can hear us or is online again with us.
όχι ακόμα. Νομίζω θα προσπαθεί να συνδεθεί.
It's probably trying to come up.
μεταξύ θα βάλω ξανά την παρουσίασή του. Θα του δώσω, αν μου επιτρέπετε, μερικά λεπτά ακόμα. Θα έχει αυτά η τεχνολογία και οι διαδικτυακές συναντήσεις.
Online meetings have such difficulties.
Alternatively, I can give the floor, since he's here again with us. Mr. Pavlidis, I hope you can hear us now. I can, you are muted.
Μ' ακούς, Αφροδίτη?
Ναι, τώρα σας ακούμε.
Apologize for this interruption, but sometimes technology can let us down. I don't know to which point you follow the presentation.
You were saying about its characteristics, I think.
Okay, so let me go back. So I'll just go through very quickly. It's a modular design with various four sizes, and it takes items up to 30 kilos. The service
You can share your screen if you can. Νομίζω ότι σας ξαναχάσαμε. Ναι. Αυτό που μπορώ να κάνω, δεν ξέρω βέβαια, είναι πολύ ευγενικό για να δώσω στον κύριο Παυλίδη. Ίσως θα κάνουμε μια τελευταία προσπάθεια να συνδεθούμε και αν δεν τα καταφέρουμε θα δώσω το λόγο στον επόμενο μιλητή. Ένα λεπτό, μου επιτρέπετε.
We are waiting for Mr.
Speaking English. Again, we have an internet connection. These things happen at live sessions. I will give Mr. Pavlidis the chance to to join us again. If not, I will give the floor to the next speaker, and then we can come back to Mr. Pavlides. If you give me 2 minutes just to give him a chance to connect, if that's okay with you. He's not here with us again. Okay. Well, okay. Now, okay. We can, I don't know what, Joe, shall I give the floor to you? Because I see that Mr. Pavlides is not connected. Okay, Joe, I think you can have the floor because he's not able to connect.
Okay.
Yes, he's not able to connect, so I'll give him the time. And he's here. Sorry. I'm sorry. He's here again. Sorry for this inconvenience. Mr. Pavlides, can you hear us now?
Hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
I connected on a different network now,
Okay.
so I hope now it's okay. Really sorry.
Is it possible for you to share your screen, or shall I do that for you?
If you can do that for me, maybe
Okay.
this is more convenient.
So I think we were here actually. Right?
Yes, I think we
Yes.
have covered. Yeah, this is a slide that we left off. Okay, so the use of the locker is very easy. Using the unique PIN code, the customer reaches the locker, which is outdoor. Just enters the PIN code. The specific locker opens. The customer collects the parcel. Just closes the door, and that's it. It's a matter of few seconds. If we can move to the next slide, please.
I'm trying to move on with your presentation, which is not moving though. Okay, let me do that.
Seems that technology is not on our side tonight. Maybe because it's Friday night, everything is tired.
No, I'm afraid it's not moving. So I'm moving on to the next slide.
Okay, yes.
Mm-hmm. So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see the screen. So just a few numbers, just to get some insight on the magnitude of the service. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yes. So we have 11 locations at the moment. 4 additional lockers are on their way. We cover the main cities and the smaller town of Paralimni and the resort of Agia Napa. And you see the locations. The 10 of them are located outside post office locations and 1 at the petrol station. And this is a success story, the petrol station, both for us and the owner of the petrol station, because it attracts a lot of extra business. So moving to the next slide. So in 2020, we have 3,552 subscribers. More than 43,000 items were collected, and income is about 20,000 euros for 1 year, which is the purpose of the service is not to create revenue as such, but at least to cover the maintenance and operational cost. And of course, if we can make money, we never say no. So moving to the next slide.
I'm afraid that again, it's not moving. You had another slide.
There are 2 or 3 more slides down the road. If you want, exit the presentation mode so that we don't delay. So just see the slides not in the presentation mode.
I will, in any case, we will share the presentation, all the presentations. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. I won't put it on full screen. The slide is about the breakdown of subscribers.
So we have, as I told you, 4 levels of subscription. The most popular one is per use, for obvious reasons. So the next slide. Okay, these are the times. It's the collection time. The percentages, the vast majority is between 8 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This is during working hours. It's about 64%. So these people, in any other case, would have gone into the post office just to pick up an item. So now we give them the opportunity to just drive past the post office in 15 or 20 seconds, pick up the item and just go. Next slide, please. During both waves of the pandemic, we used the parcel lockers for unregistered customers as well, so that to place their items and make it easier for them to pick up whatever they wanted to pick up from the post office without having to be informed about the possibility to subscribe in Parcel 24. So thank you and apologies for the technology letting us down.
Well, these things happen.
We believe that it's a success story because of the limitations we have in the working hours of the post offices. We work from 8 until 2:30 for the customer. So this service provides around-the-clock ability to pick up an item at any time convenient for the customer and not limited by the working hours of the post office.
And of course, needless to say that you had some, you needed money to invest. You took an investment. I don't know how this took place in order to be able to implement such a project.
Well, it's something. Of course, it needs a capital investment. It was included in our budget, and as I told you, the reason why we have the subscription is to be able to cover for the maintenance cost and also to implement expansion plans for the future, as we did already with the 4 additional lockers.
Great. In case we have any other questions, I will look at the chat and I will come back to you. Thank you very much, Mr. Pavlides.
You're welcome. Thank you for the time. Thank you.
And then now, at last, I will give the floor to Mr. Joe Dickinson. Allow me to make an introduction. We've been exchanging emails, and I'm glad that now we are able to meet in person. You live far. In a place I didn't know, to be honest. And you will tell us a little bit more about this, where you're located. And I wanted also to say that, okay, we are talking about digitalization and automation and new technologies, but we never have to forget the human factor, because postman is the face of our companies, and you're about to present us a community service, which was awarded, I think, in 2014, and that disrupts the norm. So the floor is yours. Welcome. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation today.
My pleasure, Afroditi. Yeah, so Jersey is a small island between England and France.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good testing bed. So really what I want to share with you is where we came from, where we are, and where we're going. And I'll do it very quickly in case the link goes down.
Okay. Do you want me to share your screen?
Yeah. So if I can have the first slide. Okay. So it's 2012. We started, like every postal operator in the world, conventional letterpost was disappearing, and it was all going over to boxes. And the question is, was there any way that we could use the unique infrastructure of the Postal Service as the last service provider that can visit every house every day if it needed to? So what could we use that for? And especially, what could we use it as a revenue stream, but also to help our community? When we started to develop Call and Check, we realised very quickly it was two parts. The first part was the visit at the door that the postman carried out, which was key. But at the back end of that, and connected to that, was a hub service to connect messages collected by the postman into the community and into organisations within the community to help people. So there's two parts, and they're both key to the project. We a year or so that we needed better technology to run the service. So we developed what we called our Call and Check engine, which connected the postal handset to our hub section, which collected the data and connected to other organisations. It became, it has become a key part of the island's structure for supporting the ageing demographic. The one thing that every country has is a postal operator and an ageing demographic. And the ageing demographic is becoming a huge problem, both for the social and for the health services. And all the health services, the models that everybody's coming out with, are based around supporting people in their own home for as long as possible. So the postal operator with his infrastructure is perfectly placed for doing that. Can I go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So this is a brief how the Call and Check system works. So everybody on the Call and Check system needs to register. They have to fill in forms, especially with the Data Protection Acts and everything else that goes on. So, and people register, and people who are recommended to register can be family members, they can be the individuals themselves, they can be social workers, they can be medical people. They fill in a very simple form. They can do it online, or they can get a piece of paper, or in our particular case, we have somebody who goes round and enrolls them onto the system. During the visit of the person enrolling onto the system, the person is give an explanation of what will happen on the visit, what the visit is and what it's not. That's key, because we want people to understand what the poster visit is all about. It is also key from a commercial point of view that the structure of the visit. So it's got to be done on the normal postal round. You don't want a special infrastructure of postal people visiting. It's got to be done by the regular posting. So it's got to be structured in a way that can happen. It has a certain length of time of the visit on average. Again, this is to be cost effective. I work with other countries who've done it, and they have different models. And when I look at the cost effectiveness, I can't see how they can make money at it. So it's key that the structure of the visit is a certain way. During the visit, the Croatian check does, the postman with his handset will ask 5 questions of the person. And he asks those questions on every visit. And it's to do with the well-being and also needs that they may have that week. These details are recorded. They're recorded through the handset to the hub. If the person requires help in certain areas, that will be taken up by the hub and then transmitted to other organisations to help the person. So it's a really connecting service inside the community. One of the things that we learned that in the UK, for instance, there are 9 million carers. So these are family people looking after the members of the family. Huge amount. In PostEurop in Jersey, we have a similar number. So what we found to the calling check is helps the carer as much as the person who's being cared for. So that was a real eye-opener to us. And in the community, the carers, and in some cases, the visit isn't just for the person, it's actually for the carer as well, because a lot of carers can be isolated. And so the only visit they get is when the postie knocks on the door and asks the questions. So it connects the whole community. So it's a very simple service, delivered simply, but it gets slightly more sophisticated as we go on. So next slide, please. The area that we wanted that we at the beginning was looking at was a revenue stream for the postal service. And so we were looking at the silver economy. And so the silver economy covers this over 65-year-olds and all the various spend that they have, be it housing, leisure, the caring facilities, all the other things. And that's a huge market. In the case of the percentage of the population that we're now getting, by 2050, we're going to have something like 29% of our population will be over 65. And that's really all throughout Europe. But the market itself is huge. So the European silver spend is 3.7 trillion a year. If it was a country economy, it would be third after America and China. So the potential of servicing this sector of the market, especially with the postal infrastructure, is huge. Could I have next slide, please? So who pays for it? So the models that we run, we have 2 models. We have a model that is a retail model that the family or the person can pay for it. We have a lot of situations where family have left the island, but their mum and dad are still on the island, and they just want to make sure that they're being checked on. And part of our engine has an app that they can key into. So when visits are, when the person has a visit, it will go to the app, so the person living off island can see what's happened on the visit and everything's fine. We always wanted to become government funded, and when we started to do that, I'm sure we've all had the thing about dealing with the government is usually has issues attached to it. You find that you have to report lots of things if you want government money. So we have structures in place that measure outcomes of visits. So to a level that the government, in particularly Jersey, felt comfortable that they would pay for it. They could see the benefits it was bringing. And if anybody was really doing this and they want it to be commercially viable, we think it's going to be a mixture of the retail market and the government funded market. Next one, please. So where are we going service-wise? So the call and check is the foot in the door. That's what we call it. And it opens the opportunities for lots of other things that we could do to support people. During the COVID, we supported on the island people going into COVID into isolation. They put those people onto the call and check system so they keep connected. We delivered all the medications for the island during the COVID shutdown. And there are other ranges of services that we're developing with technology. And one of them is quite exciting, which will mean that the postman during his visit with a piece of technology can take some medical readings with the press of a button. All these are chargeable things that we're building into the service. All of them have revenue streams attached to them. Next one. So really, it's to summarize. So call and check is a very scalable service. It's all about, as you were saying before, it's all about the post. Somebody seeing something and being able to chat with them, who they relate to, who they feel comfortable with. And that's what the postal service and the postman gives to them. And if you add technology to that, it's a great service that we can evolve for our community. And the last one is the thing that a little saying that we came up with, and it's very true, is we're not carers, but we care. We're not meant to be carers, but we are supporters, and we are putting things in place which support the community. And from a business point of view, it's a huge potential market for us to develop, especially as more technology comes along. So that's my summation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Antonino, I don't know if you want to comment on.
Oh, well, I want just to congratulate because it's really a very interesting idea. And it's like in the PostEurop family. We have also Jersey Post is one of our members, and we had a beautiful plenary. Unfortunately, for personal reason, I was not there. But it's really an idea, like, again, that from the small postal operator or can be extended to all the biggest ones. So really, I want to, more than the comment is just to congratulate with Mr. Dickinson for this very interesting presentation. And again, this could be also a good presentation for our innovation forum too. But this I let to Hellenic Post to decide.
They were awarded since 2014. I think you received the World Mail Award, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
the interesting thing that we did trials with Royal Mail, and we finished those last year and they were successful. So we're going to build new trials with Royal Mail. So they're going to bring that more into the UK. But it's when you add some of the technology that's coming it doesn't need expertise to use it, but perhaps an hour's training, but it can collect information that can be passed back to various bodies, but that we can charge for. So on a visit, we could have 2 or 3 chargeable things that we could make revenue at. So potentially, there's a lot of business there for us.
And as you said, it's a service that connects the whole community, and it's at the same time a new revenue stream for the post, but also it's a service that fights isolation and loneliness, which is really critical, especially in the period we are living.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I always say about this, if I could tell you about a potential business that's going to double in the next 25 years, and it's going to be huge, wouldn't you want to create businesses to service it? And we know these numbers are going to happen, and we know where they are, and we're already there. So why don't, that we should be doing this?
I have one last question for you, because I think it's also a matter of mentality. Maybe in Jersey Post, you had the mentality, the community had the mentality to be involved in something like that. Did you face, what were the barriers, actually the difficulties you faced, if any, when developing this service?
So 2 things. People sort of say, do you have trouble with the postman? Because he doesn't want to be doing this. He delivers letters and boxes. Why is he doing this? If I talk to postmen, they will go, we've always done this. We always help people. And I said, that's absolutely true. The difference, what we've done is connected to us into a service. And it's measured, and we've got technology in it. And and the other interesting fact, the unions in Royal Mail recently put a report in December that said that they wanted to do call and check. So they went to the management and said they would like to do call and check. So that's a great thing. But yeah, it's a mindset. The Postal Service is very innovative. The speakers you've been listening to is we're looking for new ways all the time, and all this is a new area. And I'm sure when more people put their thoughts to it, there's so much we could do with this huge amount of people living in homes, growing older, needing more services applied to them, and we've got the infrastructure. We've got the infrastructure to support them.
So you are acting like a hub, I think, for the whole community, bringing every factor together. And congratulations, because as you said, it's a simple idea. The people are already there. Someone had to think of it. You invented this. Yeah. And I think you are offering a social service and highlighting again the social role that Post have to play. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And if I may share with anyone interested, because I can share your email if we have any questions or if someone wants to learn more about the service. Can we? Yeah. Great. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I'm really happy that we finally met in person. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So, last but not least, we will talk about another project where Hellenic Post is participating. And we started with drones, and we will close this event with drones again. I will give the floor. Yes, we started with robot services and we finished with human services. You are right, Mariana. Welcome, Mrs. Ivana Filipovic. You are a project manager in the Department of European Funds and Other Sources of Financing at Croatian Post.
Yes, that's me, Evharisto Afroditi. Thank you for this invitation and the opportunity to present the project. And today I will give you a short overview of a project called FlyVETUp. I will share my screen. Just a moment. Just a moment. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay. So I will give you a short overview of a project called FlyVETUp within Erasmus Plus program. FlyVETUp is an acronym for the full project title, that is Innovative Training Curricula for Drone Controllers. Before that, I will take your time to provide you with brief info about Croatian Post and the info about how we end up in a consortium with Greek and Cyprus postal operators. So, Croatian Post is the biggest provider of postal services in the Republic of Croatia and the only provider of universal service in keeping up with the provisions of the Postal Service Act. A wide range of financial, retail, insurance, digital, and other services to retail and corporate customers is available throughout the Croatian territory day by day. Croatian Post is also the biggest national postal operator, holding over 80% of the market. So the numbers of Croatian Post are shown in this table. The numbers are in context of a small Mediterranean country of 4 million inhabitants. That's Croatia, of course. And Croatia is in line with major European postal operators, who is gradually shifting its focus to the development of innovation services and new market segments. So today, Croatian Post is testing smart solutions faster and more often than ever before. Our teams are engaged in artificial intelligence, robots, augmented reality, advanced data analytics, Internet of Things, and of course, in drones. Many postal operators are implementing and testing drone solutions, deliveries in their businesses, and drones have already proven their usefulness in crisis situations. For example, when medicine or antidotes needed to be delivered in hard-to-reach areas. In some aspects, Croatia is similar to Greece. We have more than 1,000 islands. That makes us a second country in Europe. Only country with more islands in Europe is, of course, Greece. And out of 1,000 islands Croatia has, 66 islands are inhabited, and post offices are situated on some of those islands. So last year we had a pilot project of testing an alternative delivery method using a drone. It was completed with the Croatian Research and Development company, which develops commercial and industrial services using drones. So we completed our first drone delivery to the island of Ugljan, just across the city of Zadar. It's on the Adriatic coast. The drone flew autonomously from the port of the mainland to the island at a speed of 35 kilometers per hour for about 12 minutes. During this pilot project, the drone successfully delivered parcels over a dozen times, also flying during heavy winds. So the drone that was used for testing was able to carry loads up to 200 grams, that is 2 kilos, while flying completely autonomously on a pre-programmed route. It was the first time in Croatian Post has had a flight by an unmanned aircraft and was operated outside the pilot's field of vision in a real-life mission, equipped to handle the wind and marine weather conditions of the Adriatic Sea. The pilot project showed us the possibilities of using a drone in a delivery of letters and parcels, and indicate the needs for this type of technology, of course. And just about that time, we were offered a partnership by ELTA in a project relating drones, which we accepted, of course. The project proposal was about development curriculum and the training tools for the drone operator, for a drone controller. So along with ELTA and Cyprus Post, the Mr. Pavlides, I greet you this way, was this consortium. We established a partnership on a project called FlyVETUp. So the project basic infos are, the full title is Innovative Training Curricula for Drone Controllers. Duration of the project is from the November 2020 to the November 2022. The European contribution is 100%, and that is 240,000 euros. The project is financed within the Erasmus Plus program. That is the key action cooperation for innovation and the exchange of good practices within action type strategic partnerships. That is. Project partners, we formed the project consortium that brings together postal operators, vocational training institutions, and technological partners. The postal operators in this project are from 3 different countries. That is from Croatia, from Greece, and the Cyprus, which serve as a source for the identification of training needs. The project partners are direct beneficiaries whose personnel will be trained throughout this project. The other type of partners in this project is a vocational training institution. There is Aeronautical and Technical School from Croatia, and the ACME is the Greece vocational provider. And the third partner of this type is BK Consult from Germany, for the establishment of the quality of the project implementation. The Dronint is a small technological firm, company from Cyprus, and is a project technological partner, being the expert for the development of the flight simulator, the design, development of the overall deployment of the drone system. Yeah. So the objectives of this project, it is envisaged that by the end of this project, 150 people in the participating countries will be trained. The above mentioned objective will be implemented through a concrete methodology, including the following activities: preparation of training courses for drone controller, for the development of a training program for drone controller, implementation for curricula to relevant personnel, and certification. At the end of their practical training in real environmental conditions, trainees will be certified throughout this project. The impact is also on the by developing a new learning framework for drone controllers. Impact of the project will be achieved through participating organization and through new policies. Participant of the project will be impacted by their employability, enhancement of gained skills and competencies, impact on participating organization, postal sector, training institution, and small companies will be impacted through variation of the qualitative service offerings, provision of logistic services covering emerging needs, enhancement of quality of services provided to business customers and the society as well, providing them with skilled and qualified workers that are drone controllers would be, and by increasing standardization of the postal new services, of course. So new policies will be also made. A comprehensive framework on drone regulation is designed and delivered to national administration by EU level right now, and have become mandatory starting from this year, from the January 1st. So this project is in line with the new harmonization regulations on rules and procedures for the operation of unmanned aircraft. So the regulations are applicable and mandatory starting from this year to the whole territory of the EU. So this project is right on time and in line with the new European policy, I might say. We, of course, examined the similar experiences throughout the world, but throughout the European Union. And as we have seen, individual drone-based delivery services are already being rolled out. France Postal Service has begun using drones to make parcel deliveries to remote alpine villages. Delivery by drone, which flies at around 30 kilometers per hour, takes 8 minutes for a round trip, compared to 30 minutes with a vehicle. So they say this way is more reliable, quicker, and safer than driving a van up narrow mountain roads in winter when there is ice or snow blocked the roads. Also, Finnish Postal Service Posti Group has run some tests with drones for parcel delivery to make online shopping quicker and better for both sender and the recipients. So they let drones fly while transporting parcels between mainland Helsinki and islands fortress about 5 kilometers from the Finnish capital. So that was the similar experience we examined. In a conclusion, drones have already proved their usefulness, and therefore many postal operators are implementing and testing drone deliveries in their businesses. But the issue is, aside from amateur use, for personal purposes, there is no training programs in the market for people to cultivate their drone skills, to have broader options pursuing the positions for a drone controller. So the project FlyVETup will answer to that problem, aiming at the realization of a training material for using UAVs, drones, on parcel delivery, available on e-learning platforms. The recent developments in European postal operators indicate that these parties are ready to work towards, and it's likely it won't be long before the delivery drone ecosystem will fly high to make full use of the potential offered by drones in transport solution for the benefit of the society, of course. So that would be all for me. Take care and stay safe in these crazy conditions. And chiara ti smatta από το Zagreb.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ, Ivana. As you said, I think that the main challenge we will face as a consortium in this project is to develop to the point curriculum, given that there are not similar training programs out there for drone controllers. So we'll have to start a little bit from scratch to make a training needs analysis of what is needed in terms of skills, for our employees. And I think that the next 2 years will be quite interesting in this respect.
It will be interesting time because we are just in time to start this project, because the European regulation has just harmonized the unmanned aircraft vehicles regulations, and they are trying to establish a framework for the drone system, and that's how our project fits in. Right in time. So we will have fun during these 2 years of project implementation. Looking forward to it.
Yes, of course. And of course, both our colleagues, maybe some of them who are joining us here today, and your colleagues and from Cyprus Post will be the ones that will be trained in the framework of this project.
I hope so, because out of 250 attendees, some of you must take part in our project.
Let's see. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ivana.
Thank you. Thank you, Afroditi.
I don't know if there are any other comments before we close today's event. Θα μιλήσω ελληνικά.
I will talk in Greek to able to recap and conclude our event today. I hope you found these presentations interesting. We tried to approach this issue in many sides as possible, by combining both the technology side as well as the human aspect of deliveries, which, because the human aspect also remains vitally important. I want to conclude with a text that I read in English. I will try to translate. For me, the human element is important. Colleagues who are in shops and in deliveries are always on the front line, and you are the face of the company for me. So I conclude with a text that's called The Delivery of the Future. Forgive me for this simultaneous translation. Not everything can be digitalized. Of course, humans remain physical beings, and this COVID year has highlighted the crucial role that many low-paid professions play in maintaining human civilization, like nurses, sanitation workers, truck drivers, cashiers, delivery people. In 2020, the delivery people were the thin red line holding civilization together. They became are all important lifelines to the physical world. Thank you all very much for participating, both colleagues and the panels of speakers who were together with us. I want to thank our interpreter, Maria Cristina Dulame. I think we've exhausted her today twice. Thank you very much. Have a happy weekend.
Καλό Σαββατοκύριακο.